refreshing the browser. See if we're live. There should be like a commercial running if we're live.
Yeah.
Going to the game and watch.
Right now it's just music playing in the background.
Yeah, that's what I see too.
It should flip over in a second. There
It says live on it, so it's getting ready to go.
Yep, there it is.
Let's wait for the commercial to end. All right. Greetings, citizens of the internet. I'm Static Buzz. And with me we have Oz and German the Great as usual. Say hi, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hey.
So if you guys don't know, Oz is the one with the hat. German's the one in the middle. And this is the Gaming Watch Weekly Episode 15 for October 14th, 2019. We're up to 15 episodes, gentlemen. That's pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's been a long, interesting road.
It's been awesome.
It's a good start, though, right? So
yeah, well, we're at 30 subs now on the YouTubes, and so
yeah,
we're doing good.
Definitely,
we're doing good.
Definitely getting there. So I got no complaints. So I was trying to get the stream up on my phone, but it wouldn't load. So forget it. I got it up on my second computer. We're good.
Yeah, I got it up on my third screen so I can see it.
Cool.
So, yeah, this being the 15th episode, we're still sorting out all the technical stuff. We're doing the best we can with what we got. So, hope you guys come along and see our progression as we improve all that stuff. What we have on tap this week is Blizzard steps in it good this time. Red Dead Redemption 2 PC information. PlayStation 5 information. Google Stadia will predict button pushes. World of Warcraft update news. And Fortnite Season 11 ends the world.
Hey, that was a good video, just saying.
That was a good video. But we'll get to that one later, though. All right, so the first one we have, and it's a long one, so get your popcorn, get your drinks, be ready. Blizzard is what I titled this one. It's like, come on, guys, come on. All right, so Blizzard banned popular Hearthstone player Blitzchung for a year and took away the prize money he earned. Blitzchung put on a gas mask and said, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age."
Yes.
According to Blizzard's rules, this is a violation. The strange part about this is that they also fired the two esports commentators that were on the air at the time that the Blitzchung made the statement. This was met with a huge backlash from fans and, any Blizzard esports, other Blizzard esports commentators, even some of Blizzard's workers got in on the protest. There was a walkout by the employees.
Yeah, the Hearthstone team, congested walked out. So
yeah, there was a lot of people doing stuff.
But none of them got reprimanded or fired. So
well, they didn't say anything wrong, right? They didn't do anything wrong. They just walked out.
They just got up and walked out on the job, though. I mean, if I were to do that, that would be like...
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I get you there. So you guys know there's a huge push right now because China is China, and there's people that are rebelling against China inside their country. And I don't really want to go into all that because I don't really know all the facts. And
they're a communist government, and people want freedom. I mean,
there's that, but there's also, I haven't witnessed anything there firsthand. So when it comes to things like this, if I haven't witnessed them firsthand, I don't take what people tell me, what my government, what other people, reporters, they just present to me. Like, here, this is what's going on in China. These are all the bad things. Might be happening, might not be happening. But anyways, let's go back to the gaming news.
Sure.
So, Blizzard finally responded. They didn't respond for like 5-6 days. So yesterday they responded and said, and this is a long one, I apologize, but I think if I don't read this in full that it will lose context.
Sure.
Hello, Blizzard community. I want to take a few minutes to talk to all of you about the Hearthstone Grandmasters tournament this past weekend. On Monday, we made a decision to take action against a player named Blitzchung and two shoutcasters after the player shared his views on what's happening in Hong Kong on our official broadcast channel. At Blizzard, our vision is to bring the world together through epic entertainment. And we have core values that apply here. Think globally, lead responsibly, and importantly, every voice matters. Encouraging everyone to share their point of view. The actions that we took over the weekend are causing people to question if we are still committed to these values. We absolutely are, and I will explain. Our esports programs are an expression of our vision and our values. Esports exists to create opportunities for players from around the world, from different cultures and from different backgrounds, to come together to compete and share their passions for gaming. It is extremely important to us to protect these channels and the purpose they serve, to bring the world together through epic entertainment, celebrate our players, and build diverse and inclusive communities. As to how those values apply in this case, first, our official esports tournament broadcast was used as a platform for a winner of this event to share his views with the world. We interview competitors who are at the top of their craft to share how they feel. We want to experience that moment with them. Hearing their excitement is a powerful way to bring us together. Over the weekend, Blitzchung used his segment to make a statement about the situation in Hong Kong. In a violation of rules he acknowledged and understood, and this is why we took action. Every voice matters, and we strongly encourage everyone in our community to share their viewpoints in many places available to express them. However, the official broadcast needs to be about the tournament and to be a place where all are welcome. In support of that, we want to keep the official channels focused on the games. We hire shoutcasters to amplify the excitement of the game. They elevate the watchability and help the esports viewing experience stay focused on the tournament and our amazing players. Third, were our actions based on the content of the message. Part of Think Globally, Leading Responsibly, and Every Voice Matters is recognizing that we have players and fans in almost every country in the world. Our goal is to help players connect in areas of commonality, like their passion for our games, and create a sense of shared community. The specific views expressed by Blitzchung were not a factor in the decision we made. I want to be clear. Our relationship in China had no influence on our decision. We have these rules to keep the focus on the game and on the tournament to benefit a global audience, and that was the only consideration in the action we took. If this had been the opposing viewpoint delivered in the same division and deliberate way, divisive, sorry, that's the word they use, divisive and deliberate way, we would have felt and acted the same. Okay, what could Blizzard have done better? And where could we go from here? Over the past few days, many players, casters, esports fans, and employees have expressed concerns about how we determine the penalties. We've had a chance to pause, to listen to our community, and to reflect on what we could have done better. In hindsight, our process wasn't adequate, and we reacted too quickly. We want to ensure that we maintain a safe and inclusive environment for all our players, and that our rules and processes are clear. All of this is in service of another important Blizzard value: play nice, play fair. In the tournament itself, Blitzchung played fair. We now believe he should receive his prizings. We understand that for some this is not about the prize, and perhaps for others it is disrespectful to even discuss it. That is not our intention. But playing fair also includes appropriate pre- and post-match conduct, especially when a player accepts recognition for winning in a broadcast. When we think about the suspicion, 6 months for Blitzchung is more appropriate. They gave him a year. They reduced it down to 6 months. After which time he can compete in Hearthstone Pro circuits again if he so chooses. This is a consequence for taking the conversation away from the purpose of the event and disrupting or derailing the broadcast. With regards to the casters, remember their purpose is to keep the event focused on the tournament. That didn't happen here, and we are setting their suspension to 6 months as well. Moving forward, we will continue to apply tournament rules to ensure our official broadcasters remain focused on the game and are not a platform for divisive. I can't say the word. divisive, that's the word, social or political views. One of our goals at Blizzard is to make sure that every player everywhere in the world, regardless of political views, religious beliefs, race, gender, or any other consideration, always feels safe and welcome both competing in and playing our games. At Blizzard, we are always listening and finding ways to improve. It is part of our culture. Thank you for your patience with us as we continue to learn. Sincerely, J. Allen Brack, President of Blizzard Entertainment. Now, there is a response from BlizzChung. You guys want me to go into that, or do you want to talk about that long, lengthy thing from Blizzard first?
That's entirely up to you. I mean, if you want to go into his response and then talk about it, that's fine. I mean,
all right, because his response is long as well, but not as long.
Fine.
All right, so BlizzChung posted on Twitter, or Twit Longer is where I found the actual thing.
Okay.
Thank you for your attention in the past 1 week. He doesn't speak English, obviously, so he does make a little bit of grammatical errors. Mm-hmm. This is a personal statement and my view on Blizzard's latest decision. First of all, I'm grateful for Blizzard reconsidering their position about my ban. Earlier this week, I told the media that I knew I might have penalty or consequences for my act, because I understand that my act could take the conversation away from the purpose of the event. In the future, I will be more careful on that and express my opinion or show my support to Hong Kong on my personal platform. Many people has been asking me if I accept the latest decision of Blizzard. I will discuss that on two parts: tournament pricing and suspension. For tournament pricing, I quoted what Blizzard said on the official website. They mentioned that I played fair in the tournament and that they believe I should receive my pricing. This is part I really appreciate. Blizzard also said they understand for some this is not about the prize, but perhaps for others it is disrespectful to even discuss it. People from Blizzard had explained this to me thoroughly through a phone call, and I really appreciate that, and I accept their decision on this part. For second part, about the suspension, Blizzard has changed their suspension on me from a year to 6 months. Once again, I appreciate for their reconsideration on this. To be honest, I think 6 months is still quite a lot to me. But I also being told that I can continue to compete in the Hearthstone Pro Circuit, which they mean the Grandmaster tournament. I appreciate for this decision they made, because Grandmaster is currently the highest level tournament in competitive Hearthstone. However, I wish Blizzard can reconsider about their penalty on the two casters involved. Lastly, many people want to know if I will be competing in Hearthstone in the future. Honestly, I have no idea on that yet, since my next tournament is very likely to be the Grandmaster tournament of next season. It is probably at least a few months from now. I will take this time to relax myself to decide if I'm staying in competitive Hearthstone scene or not. Hearthstone changed my way I live. I really love this community. Blessing to all players out there, and blessing the Blizzard. So he's kind of like, I don't agree with the ban length, but everything else he knew he was going to get in trouble for. So,
well, yeah. I mean, I honestly think Blizzard is still being a little heavy-handed. I mean, who out there doesn't use whatever platform is available to them to get out what's going on? I mean, pro athletes do it all the time. These guys are considered e-athletes. So, like I said earlier, if it had to been, if this wasn't political and it was more, LGBTQ type crap, Blizzard would have been like, oh, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But because it's, political, and they know that if there is a possibility of Blizzard siding with that pro-freedom movement over in China, China could pretty much say, get the hell out, and that could affect their bottom line.
I think it was 30% of their bottom line, somewhere around there.
China's a huge market for Blizzard. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying. So I honestly believe that it's a lot of this is financially motivated. I mean, they can say it's not, but I don't believe them at all, because if you go to BlizzCon and you see most of their e-athletes for like StarCraft or almost any of the other stuff, they're usually from China. you know. So I think, or Korea, but you know, the thing is I don't see the problem in getting on there and just saying, hey, you know, this is what's going on in my country and trying to bring it to the world stage, you know.
But they have clear rules saying that you're not supposed to do that. And when you sign up for their
Well, I
esports, I'm
mean,
sure you sign a contract with them saying that you will abide by those rules.
oh, I'm sure, but again, you know, I just find it to be a little biased. Had this been a, you know, somebody with a alternate lifestyle that got on there and said something about it, you know, they would have just been like, hey, no problem, you know. I wouldn't see them coming down on if they with the people that think, you know, again, to get on the LGBTQ thing, that the whole thing is Blizzard supports that wholeheartedly. You know, they created, you know, pins. They've given characters in Overwatch alternate background stories just for the hell of giving them that type of background. I don't know, man. I just find it, like I said, it's you can use it as a platform only when Blizzard says you can use it as a platform. You know, and I think that's wrong. I mean, if this obviously is affecting him and his way of life in Hong Kong, so why not let him try to bring it to the stage?
I think the best motive they would have gone to is just kind of a slap in the wrist. Here's a fine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it again. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Something like that instead of the whole big old freaking extremists and going crazy on it. Like, oh my god, what should I do? What should I do? And they acted in the inappropriate way. Just going at it is just
Oh, yeah.
attacking. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, dude, like just, you know, like any other fan, any athlete out there, you know, basketball player, whatever, you know, just gonna go over there and just give them a fine. Yeah, you gonna get a fine? Yeah, sure. Here's a fine. I did what I did. I know I made a mistake. You know what I mean? I won't do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank, simple.
I mean, Blizzard, you could tell in the beginning, basically, it was a knee-jerk reaction. You're done. We're keeping the money, and we're firing the two shoutcasters. That was straight up knee-jerk reaction. And then after they sat down and thought about it, they're like, oh, yeah, that was a little heavy-handed. My thing is they needed to just sit back, relax, and let this take its course. You know, if it had some negative outcome, I'm sure they could have dealt with it. It's Blizzard, but to come down that heavy-handed in the beginning, I don't like that at all.
It's like shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah, and my thing is like they should have just let it run its course and see if anything negative would happen. Obviously, nothing negative happened, but they turned it into something bigger when they completely put their foot in their mouth and just came down heavy-handed. You know.
Well, I don't know if there hasn't been negative effects. I've heard people wanting BlizzCon refunds because of this, and they're worried about the Overwatch that's releasing on Switch this week not selling as well because of it.
People wanting refunds is probably the pro supporters of the, you know, movement going on over in China. You know, I'm just saying, A, you're not going to get a refund. B, they tell you that right in the beginning. You're not, if you purchase tickets, you got a ticket, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think what kind of screwed them is the fact that they did come down this way. You know?
Yeah, if they wouldn't have come down so hard so quickly, would this have even been a story? If they would have just said, hey, dude, you're banned for 3 months, don't be doing that, would we've even...
They could have done this all behind closed doors and done it amicably, like, you know, sit down with everybody and say, hey, can you accept these punishments, and been fine, you know. But to come down and, you know, say the shoutcasters are gone permanently and the player is permanently done, he loses his money, all of that's just way too heavy-handed for something this minor. You know,
when it comes to the shoutcasters, that's the part that kind of confuses me. What did they expect them to do? And did they expect them to know what's going on in Hong Kong? Because I honestly did not know what was going on in Hong Kong before this whole thing. Yeah. And if I would have been a shoutcaster and I would have saw him put on the goggles and the gas mask, I'd have been like, what's this guy doing? You know, but I wouldn't have stopped him because I wouldn't have known. So... do they expect these guys to be politically aware of everything that's going on in the world? Well, and if they see something like that, like jump them or something, what do they want? Like just flip the camera too. Let's go to another scene. What do they want from these guys?
I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe to try to do the steering of the conversation, like how we do here. You kind of steer it and where you want the conversation to go. But
But
again, they didn't know he was gonna use that as a platform to talk about what's going on in Hong Kong. But
exactly.
I mean, that's slowly been building momentum lately. I mean, it started off with just marching out in the street, and now it's escalating to tear gas and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it's Tiananmen Square all over again, but it's
Yeah, but like I was having conversations with other people, like my brother, and he's like, "Oh yeah, they'll just squish it." I'm like, "All it takes is that spark, and that's what it's doing. It's catching, And I don't know, might be seeing the style of government change over there, but that's a different story for a different time. But again, I just don't like how Blizzard came down so heavy-handed on it. It's for someone who's always supported Blizzard and gone to several BlizzCons, it's now it's like yet another disappointing thing they've done for me to go, is this a company I really want to continue to support if they're not even going to let this guy talk about what's going on in his home country? It's like I don't know.
Well,
I just
what if it would have been the other way? What if it would have been the guy that was for the Chinese government that wanted the people in Hong Kong to stop acting stupid or whatever,
too.
Whatever his opinion was.
That's fine too. I'm not. It's all about letting him just say what's motivating him.
That's not the platform, though.
For him, it is. It's. What other platform can he use? Yeah, he could probably take to Reddit or whatever and talk about it, but that's down here. Up here is where BlizzCon or whatever that stage is, because with him winning that, he could have gone to BlizzCon. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead, Joe.
I think that them dropping the bombshell on it made it more of a bigger topic now.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Than having to cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if that was the intention of it, but they actually did something to bring it back to light because of the shit what they did. So I think they basically just kind of like screwed themselves if they wanted to hide it. They actually came up and say, "Hey, this is going on. This is big now." So actually give him more of a leg up on them, I guess. If that's what he wanted.
Anytime you come down with the ban hammer on people, you're gonna get a bigger reaction. If you had they just been like, "Hey, we're gonna take so much out of your winnings for a fine, and you can't participate for a month or so," it wouldn't have turned into this huge thing. But the fact is they jumped the gun, pulled out the ban hammer, and said, "How dare you? Don't ever use this as a platform." And it's like, who's not going to use this as a platform? I mean, come on. I mean, seriously, it is what it is, so they can either embrace it, which they say they embrace, your political views, your choice in everything, but don't use this as a platform in which to preach your thing. It's like, okay, you're contradicting yourself. You can only say it in the forums, or you can only say it on Reddit, but don't you dare do it on stage.
Well, I think you're missing a part, though. I think in any thing like this, there's two sides, right? Mm-hmm. There's the pro-communist and then the pro-freedom, democracy, whatever it is they're fighting for over there. And if this one says something, if you agree with them, it's all right. Mm-hmm. But if this one says something and you don't agree with it, it's not. But if you agreed with them, then this one's all right, and the pro-freedom person is not all right if they say something, if you agree with the communist. So it really depends on which side of the argument you're on, if you agree with it or not.
I think they should have just let him say what he's going to say and been like, all right, man. All right. I'm not saying don't punish them, but I'm just saying they came down too heavy on the hammer.
Yeah, I agree. And I think German's right that by doing what they did, they definitely elevated his statement a lot.
Oh, yeah.
They definitely
big time
moved it
and
up.
That's the problem. They basically just ramped up that the pro-freedom movement over in China, I mean, so the thing is like, okay, you shouldn't do it, but these people are, anyone that gets up on stage that has something they want to get out is gonna get it out, so okay. He knew, like he said, he knew it was against the rules and still did it. So, I mean, yeah, I get that part. I just don't like the fact that they came down so heavy-handed and then had to backpedal to try to make things okay, to smooth things over. It's like, well, you already dug your grave at that point. You've already made people mad. You got people asking for refunds. You got people saying, I might be done with Blizzard after this, you know? So it's like, next time, don't be so heavy-handed or don't rush to make a decision. Just let's watch it. Is it going to get real turbulent, or is it something that you can just kind of like, okay?
I kind of disagree with that. I think the problem here is that they didn't have clear punishments for when people broke these rules. If they would have said, you do it once, you get banned for 3 months and lose whatever winnings you won at the tournament you're in, or even if it was a year, if they would have had that in the rules and he broke the rules and they said, now you knew the rules, you broke them, you got to stand by this. I don't think people would have had as big an issue, but because they're not clearly defined punishments, then
I mean,
people thought it was excessive.
He played fair. There was no to sit there and take his winnings away at all. Like I said, you can fine him, but to sit there and take all the winnings away because he used it as a political platform,
but if it's in the rules,
to be wrong. If it's in the rules, I mean, that's okay, but still, I'm like.
But if he agreed to it, to participate, then nobody would be able to say anything about it. They would have been like, "That's our rules." He agreed to it when he participated. He knew the punishment if he was to do this, and he did it anyways. So either he accepts the punishment, or he's an idiot for not knowing the rules.
Okay. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
But I'm just.
It's like if you speed, do you know how much your ticket is in your state? Right? If you could probably look that up. Yeah. So if you wanted to speed and you got pulled over, you would know about how much you should expect to be paying for your fine. Same thing here. And yeah, I don't know. Since you guys were bringing up basketball, I don't know if you guys know this, but I guess somebody, and I don't know the full ins and outs of this, somebody on the Rockets team or somewhere in there says something in support of the Hong Kong thing. And then the owners of the Rockets said that we're not going to filter our players, our team, from saying whatever they feel is, their personal views.
Freedom of speech.
Yep. And China now won't play Rocket games in China. They won't.
Well, of course. The Great Firewall, that goes against what the government wants. I mean, this is you're talking about a full-on communist government versus, the people wanting more of a free country. Everything is censored over there.
I know how they do.
I mean, the only country worse than that is North Korea. Okay, nothing gets in and out of there. They have their own internet.
So,
but
all right,
it's just one of those things. I find it. I don't like it when people get censored. I mean, that's just like one of my pet peeves. It's like, don't censor people and don't take away guns. I mean, that's just my thing,
Well, I don't know. It seems to be in our country, at least over the last 10 years or so, as long as you're on the popular side of things, you can say whatever you want. If you go against that popular thing, you will get slammed. They will just totally go all out war on you on the social networks, and you basically name becomes mud out there, and I don't even know what people do.
When I travel for work, I don't have my pro-Trump hat or any of that stuff with me. I don't need to be kicked off the plane. It's I keep my personal opinions to myself.
You should be able to wear that.
Yes, I should, but I should also be able to walk the street with it without being accosted by Antifa and everybody else. That's like, oh my God, he hurt my feelings.
So you can be in Antifa, but you can't be in a Trump supporter, which is totally against what the United States is all about.
Well, welcome to the beginning of the socialist states of America. That's what they want. That's what they really want. You can't have this. You can't have that. But that's a
Alright,
different topic.
we're
going here.
the gaming conversation is getting derailed. So speaking of getting accosted and guns and stuff, let's go to the next story.
Yeah, so
That's the best segue I could give right
Yeah.
there.
So, as we know, Red Dead Redemption 2 is finally coming to PC, and
Woo!
what they have talked about is, I think German's covering the specs on that later.
Yeah,
right?
he's gonna get the specs.
Okay, so, but basically, it's going to eat up a good chunk on your hard drive. You're looking at 50 gigs chewed up there. But there's graphical improvements. There are more guns, more horses, more clothes, and 3 new bounty missions. Hannah's not happy right now because she can't get in. Sorry.
It's all right.
Give me a minute.
All right.
Okay. So, 3 new bounty hunting missions, 2 new gang hideouts, 2 new treasure maps, new weapons. What else do we got here? Definitely new trinkets, which are nice to have. And when you do pre-purchase it, you get a choice. You get a choice of 2 free games: either Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, San Andreas, Bully Scholarship Edition, LA Noire, Max Payne 3. And then also with that is, if you pre-order or get the premium edition, you have the Outlaw Survival Kit, the Warhorse story. Looks like cash bonus, 50 gold bars, and a slew of other stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Again, yeah, you guys will probably see me replay it, but on PC, which is hopefully going to be more fun. Now, I'm wondering how steering the horse is going to be on the PC versus steering it on the controller, because I have quite a few where I'm like full gallop and I'm trying to dodge something, the horse doesn't. The horse meets the rock, I go flying, the horse dies, and then I'm kind of like, well, damn. So
What I do in Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PC is when I'm running around on foot, I'm keyboard and mouse. When I'm driving, I'm controller.
I didn't think about that.
And hopefully you can do the same thing with Red Dead 2, but
you should be able to, because there's a lot of they're pulling in a lot of the same control methods, because it's basically, I think, the same engine. If I remember
I'm not
right.
sure. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's the same engine. It's just a different story. So, but yeah, it basically looks like with Red Dead Redemption 2, the pre-order stuff is the same as it was on the PlayStation. They're just re-releasing it at like a new release for PC. So all of that stuff I missed out on when I didn't pre-order it for the PlayStation, I get it on PC. So that's good, because I'm more of a PC guy anyways, because PC is by far superior.
So yeah, I did pre-order it, and just so you guys know that the Ultimate Edition you can get for like $20 off right now. And the Special Edition, I think, is going for the cost of the normal game. Yep. They don't even have the regular edition on here. They're basically saying Special Edition is like the normal one now, and the Ultimate Edition is now what the Special Edition was.
Yes. That's pretty much how they're doing it. And like I said, I pre-ordered it as well. I was like, screw it. I'm not going to lose out on the pre-order stuff like I did last time. So,
yeah, I went ahead and did that. I figured I should do it now, just get it over with.
Yeah, because that'll allow me to drop the subscription on the PlayStation so I can play it online on the PC. So,
yeah,
I think I might not, because I'll lose Rocket League, won't I? If I do that,
if you do what?
If I drop my PlayStation subscription,
you won't lose the game, but you won't be able to play multiplayer.
Yeah, that's it.
You can play bots.
If we play it more, I might keep it. So yeah.
Hey, I'm down to play Rocket League anytime.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Maybe we'll do it later after we eat dinner. we need to stream something. I've been trying to recoup. I think we should stream some Rocket League later.
I'm down for that.
Okay.
So German, do you know if your computer meets the specifications for Red Dead 2?
Well, basically, the minimum specifications will be a Windows 7 Service Pack 1. processor Intel Core i5. Minimum memory will be 8 gigabytes, and graphics card NVIDIA GeForce GTX 770, 2 gigabytes, and about 50 gigabytes of storage. Sound cards, DirectX compatibility. So I would say yes, but the only thing that I'm missing will be a graphics card, which I should also obtain for my computer. So that's like the minimum. Recommended specs, of course, Windows 10, which I do have that. Processor, iCore i7, which I do, and memory of like 12 gigabytes. I have a terabyte, so basically I
That's
do
your
have
RAM.
that recommended. Or RAM.
Yeah, that's your RAM.
Well, yeah, RAM. There you go. So what is that? 16 gigs, something like that. Can't remember how much it is. But I
don't
do
know.
have that. I think the only thing I'm missing would be just a graphics card on my actual PC to be good for it. But
Yeah, the GTX 1060 would be a good one for you. Or if you went AMD, you could do the RX version,
Well,
whatever you can afford.
At this point, he might as well just get a newer style card, because with the 1060, I mean that's
Yeah, go
older
2060 or something. Yeah, that'd be better.
yeah, because doing a 1060, I mean that card is already 2 years old. I think at a 1060.
Maybe older than that. I have a
Yeah.
1080. So,
Hold on, someone's angry.
No problem.
no
But
problem.
yeah, you
Yeah.
might want to look at some of the 2060s or something, and
Yeah.
that would just boost you big time. I noticed with a lot of the games that the processor helps, but it's not that critical. That's why you see the i7 4770 is the one here. They're up to like 970, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I run an i5. That's where I sometimes cut the corner on cost. Because really to need an i7, it's like, okay, yeah, it's nice to have an i7, but really to play a game, you really don't need the newest i7. You can do an i5 of a similar family, of like, I don't know, so say you take the Haswell, which is older, but that's the one that jumped out. They had an i5 Haswell and an i7. You could go with the i5 and still be fine.
Yeah.
So my thing is okay, that's a nice area to cut corners, or to use that savings and dump it into a better graphics card. So like when I was building my rig, I cut the corner on, the processor, so that I could bump up the RAM and bump up my graphics card, because I went with a 1070 Ti, which is only just a little bit lesser than what was out at the time, which was the 1080. So, when you ran a benchmark next to the 1070 Ti and the 1080, because the 1080 Ti wasn't out at the time, there was a slight difference in benchmarking. But now my graphics card is considered aging, but it's still, I can play almost everything on max settings. So I think is just get a decent card, just a decent graphics card, and always have plenty of RAM, and then you're fine. Because almost everything's going to be done on the card. So.
Yep, and that's exactly what I'm missing, just that card, and that should be gold.
Yeah, card's more important than the processor. As long as you meet the minimum on the processor, you should be good. I agree with that. But wouldn't it be
make sure it has? Just make sure it has good dedicated VRAM on it.
Definitely.
Dedicated. Yeah.
So what would make this all easier is if they just allowed you to use keyboard and mouse on the consoles. With these games. So we can hope for that in the next generation, right? So I don't know.
But my PC is upgradable. My PlayStation is not. I can't crack it open and put in a new graphics card.
But they're talking about making maybe not the next generation, but the generation after that more moddable. So
and if that's true, then I might switch. But I don't know. I'm still a PC guy at heart.
You still got a PlayStation 4 over there.
I got 4. I gotta get the 5 when it comes out, but
Yeah, it's me too. So speaking of the PlayStation 5 and when it comes out, that was a long segue.
Yeah.
They said it's going to release in holiday 2020, and they also gave us a little bit more information on it. So basically, they announced it was coming out 2020, and they I can't talk right now. They elaborated on it a little more. They said they had this to say on their blog. The games will be on a 100 gigabyte optical discs, and the drive will support 4K Blu-ray playback, which I'm down for. That's
Nice.
part of the reason why I started going down the Xbox road is because I wanted to play 4K DVDs, Blu-rays.
Yeah.
Games will still need to be installed on the SSD drive. They had more to say about their upcoming controllers as well. They were talking about. They said this is end quote, so it's kind of a weird way of going into it, but to that end, there are two key innovations with the PlayStation 5's new controllers. First, we're adopting haptic feedback to replace the rumble technology found in the controllers since the 5th generation of consoles. With haptic, you truly feel a broader range of feedback, so crashing into a wall in a race car feels much different than making a tackle on a football field. You can even get a sense for a variety of textures when running through fields of grass or plodding through mud. The second innovation is something we call adaptive triggers, which has been incorporated into the trigger buttons L2, R2. Developers can program the resistance of the triggers so that you can feel the tactile sensation of drawing a bow and arrow or accelerating an off-field vehicle through rocky terrain. In combination with the haptics, this can produce a powerful experience that better simulates. I think he meant simulates various actions. Game creators have started to receive early versions of the new controllers, and we can't wait to see where their imaginations go with these new features at their disposal. They went on to say, due to better batteries and the haptic feedback, the controllers would be heavier than the current DualShock 4s, but lighter than an Xbox One controller. Now, I don't know about you guys, but me personally, I don't even like the rumble. I turn it off on most things.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it sometimes, but if you wear rings, then it's like it becomes very audible. But
Or it
yeah,
shakes off your desk.
yeah.
Oh yeah. I like the resistance part though. That's pretty sick. That's
I
like
mean, if they
very
were
interesting.
do it better, I mean, yeah. But again, it's not like you really need the rumble to enjoy the story of the game. It's a more of a tactile thing, and some people will get excited over that, but others will be like, I'm still gonna turn it off. You know what I mean? So
If they let you.
I don't know why they wouldn't. They let you in other games, so why not let you turn it off now? I mean, I was kind of disappointed because I saw a meme where it said the PlayStation 5 was going to come with a sandwich maker, and I'm kind of disappointed now. So.
A sandwich maker, like a panini?
Yeah, like a sandwich maker, yeah.
Like
the
a
meme I
panini?
saw on Facebook, yeah, you know, it's like damn, you know, does it come with what I wanted? But no, I mean, if it's what they're saying it's gonna come with, that's actually pretty cool. 100 gig optic disc. So I wonder how that's gonna play out. You know.
Well, what's the size of Blu-rays and 4K discs? Are 4K disc optic discs? Are those the 100 gigabytes?
I think so. I don't know. I have to look all that stuff up. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not really down with all of that.
I haven't looked into it since the Blu-ray
Server
days,
guy.
so
Yeah. So could not tell you. But
Yeah.
I mean, other than the hardware stuff, I don't really care about the triggers, the tension on the triggers. I mean, which would be nice if if you started to push down, it would, power up whatever it is to a varying degree, But
They
other
already
than that,
do that with racing games, though.
yeah. So again, it's like, okay, you're giving me a feature that I probably won't get excited about. So just saying.
It depends on how they use it. It really does. I mean, like if you're fishing and it can tell that you're doing this with the controller or something, to cast the rod or something, then maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Feel that resistance going back.
Yeah, fighting the
nice.
fish and it's
that's actually would be pretty nice.
That would be kind of cool. We'll have to see if that's what they come up with. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so the next article we have here is Division 2's second episode. You want to talk about that one there, Oz?
Sure. So the Division 2 second episode arrives this month, but the raid is going to be delayed. So the Pentagon, the last castle, lands not tomorrow, but Tuesday. For year pass holders, everyone else, it's the 22nd. So, which basically is we're gonna finally get to visit the Pentagon, where the Black Tusk is gonna be waiting for us. So it looks like Cal and I are gonna finally get to go to the Pentagon. But yeah,
see the train truly crashed into there. Wait, that's another thing.
So I've been looking forward to it because there really hasn't been a whole lot of Division stuff lately. So I haven't jumped into it. It's I think we haven't played it since the last time episodes came out.
Pretty much.
So
when we were in the college or whatever it was, right?
Yes. So basically, we get to go to. Ooh, Hannah's not happy. Get to go to the Pentagon, fight some Black Tusk, and unfortunately, the raid is being held up. I don't think it's quite ready. So,
do we care about their raids? I mean, really, it's
after that last time you and I played the raid in Group Finder, which was before German was with us. That was really toxic, and I was not happy with that. And so probably not. I'm more or less. I like playing the episodes and playing them gradually on a harder mode to up the tier level of gear that's going to drop. But that's about it, maybe roll a new character or something, but that's about it. And I don't really do the PvP, but I might if you and I were to go out into the dark zone. But for the most part, I don't venture into the dark zone by myself.
Well, if we can get German to get his computer upgraded there, we can get him into some of this stuff and have a 3-man team. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll be searching that. Probably be after my trip back from Missouri.
Misery.
Yep. But yeah, definitely, I would love to.
Yeah. So that's basically what we got coming to the Division is going to the Pentagon, but the raid's a little bit behind schedule. I don't think they really have a date other than they'll let us know when it's gonna drop.
This might be the only way I get to go to the Pentagon.
I've never been to the Pentagon, so I don't know.
I work with a person that used to work there. That's about as close as I've been.
Yeah.
All right.
Never been.
So, German, I don't know if you noticed, but I moved your article about Fortnite up.
Yes.
So, go ahead. I didn't realize I'd taken that out of order. So, no segue this time. Just go into it. It's my fault.
So, Fortnite had around 1.4 million watchers as the end of season 11 saw a rocket in a explosion destroying the map, leading the way for what was leaking earlier in this week. Fortnite would not now move to Chapter 2. If the leak is to be believed that this could mean that a new map, a new vehicle, new boats, we'll have to wait for the official announcement. But did you guys take a look at that trailer?
Yeah, I know you guys did. I made you guys watch it. Required watching before the stream.
Right.
I have to link it in the description on YouTube's or something.
Yeah, I'll try to find the official one and see if I can get that up there in the comments.
Yeah, I was looking at it. It's actually pretty cool. I liked it. Kind of wanted me to go back and just play it, but at the same time, I just kind of like, I don't know. I really don't like it.
That's how I feel. I mean, every time it comes up, I'm like, freaking hate Fortnite. Looks like it could be fun if I could get around the whole twitchiness of it, because I'm not a Twitch type player at all. So I don't like jerky type shooting. That's why I'm not good at competitive shooting. So
I'm like the worst.
Other than that, it looks like it could be fun. I don't know.
If we got a fourth person and we jumped in there, I almost guarantee you guys would have fun.
I think I would lose because I'm gonna try to build before anything, and I'm going with a map like this.
Yeah, like I said, if we could get a solid fourth, then maybe I would contemplate it. But
I mean, our goal would be obviously we'd want to try to win a match, but we just want to
go and have fun,
But we won.
Yes, yeah. once I started to figure shit out, it was a little slow when it comes to stuff like that.
Well, you can't jump into a rock. Well, the problem is my MMR is too high. So when I jump into a match with you guys, so even in casual, you have an MMR, which is a match ranking rating, and I'm not a great player, but I can get to platinum as a ranking. So it goes bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, champ, grand champ, something like that. So when you look at percentages, I'm in the top 10% of Rocket League players. I'm in the bottom 1% of those 10%, but I'm in the top 10% of the Rocket League players. And when you jump into a match with my MMR, your guys' balances out, I believe, and you get harder players than you would know what to deal with. If I was to start a new account and we were to play, it probably wouldn't be as difficult. But then again, we would get a bunch of people that I'd be frustrated to play against because they'd just be doing stupid stuff and it'd be too easy.
I just want to win the match.
We won a couple.
Dirt league or something, and be like, all right,
dirt
there
league.
you go. Yeah,
a dirt ring. Well, we weren't playing competitive, so yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I just want to play competitively. I mean, I'm not good enough to say I want to play competitively. That's the thing. I just want to play.
Right.
So going back to the Fortnite thing, I was watching some things and saw some things earlier in the week that there was a leak. I believe it was on Apple iOS, and it might have been like Australia or another country, where they actually showed Fortnite Chapter 2 and like 3 players looking over a map that was obviously a new map. Or they were on a mountain looking down, and it was obviously a new map. So everybody believes that's why I put that in there about the new map, the new vehicles with the boats, because they showed like some. Couldn't tell if they were speedboats or not because they were off in the distance, but you could definitely see the trails behind them, and there was like 3 of them. So it made it look like there's going to be boats and more water and that kind of stuff going on in Chapter 2, if that's what they're calling it. But we'll have to see. Like I said, like German said, wait for the official announcement. Another thing that we got is Google Stadia to use predictive button pushes.
It's the beginning of Skynet.
No. So Google's vice president of engineering, I don't know how to say this name, Madj Bakar, in an interview with Edge magazine, issue number 338, if you guys want to go look it up, made the following claim. Ultimately, we think in a year or two, we'll have games that are running faster and feel more responsive in the cloud than they do locally, regardless of how powerful the local machine is. They plan on using input predictions to produce negative latency to make this happen. So, for the people who don't understand that terminology, they're going to track your button pushes in a game and say you dodge when somebody raises their sword at a certain point in time. They're going to predict that you do that every time. So even if you get a new ability like now you can parry, it might make you dodge the first couple times even though you're hitting the parry button until it realizes, okay, he wants to use the parry button now and then the dodge. So what happens if you want to parry or dodge and you want to do it 50-50? I'm just not down for that. Like we were talking earlier, I want to feel like I'm playing the game. I don't want to feel like the game is playing itself and I'm just like there guiding it or watching it.
That's the way of the future, man.
No.
Games are just going to play themselves and we're going to watch.
We're going to be all brain dead, man. It's like, what was that Wall-E movie with all the people in the chairs and just drink?
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, they're just like brain dead and the machines do everything for them. No, let's not go there. We need to keep our brains sharp, our reactions sharper, and video games help with that.
I mean, with Google's new quantum computer, I mean, I'm pretty sure it'll be something that's going to be really nice to have. But, I mean, again...
I just don't see how they can make the claim that it'll run faster on the cloud than it will on my PC. I mean, that's going to take huge lane of traffic.
They didn't say it would play faster. They said it would feel faster. So they're going to trick you into thinking that it's playing faster because of the way they're doing the inputs for you.
whatever. I still think that's bull. I mean, like I
It-
said,
I
like
agree.
the idea of Stadia. I mean, like I said, we're bought into it, but for me, it's only just to see what's coming. It's not like that's going to be my primary gaming platform. You know, I am till the day I die going to probably be a PC guy. You know, that's just where I think you're going to get the better gaming feel. You know, I don't know, whatever, but I don't like this predictive AI stuff. It's like, all right, Skynet, this is not what I want to do right now.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Yeah.
You know that there also are. I think there's some patents out there where companies have patented AI that plays like other players and talks like other players to trick people into thinking that they're real players, so that they can sell more in-game items because they'll have the better items and you'll think they're better players and you want to be like them, so you'll have to buy the equipment and the stuff that they have so that you're the better player as well. So they're already looking at that kind of crap, and I'm like, no, I want real people if I'm doing competitive stuff. I want the AI to be smart enough that I can still be successful, might challenge me, that's fine, but I don't want to have it act like other players.
Well, I remember in Division 1 when you were either doing the underground or survival, when you were in underground, it would either proc the hunters, so you'd get 2 hunters, or if you were doing the survival, it would like 3 or 4 of them would show up, and they looked like real players, to where they would like jump and roll when things were happening, to where if you were playing outside of that you know, the characters didn't dive and roll to get into cover. So the AI is getting there to where it plays like another player.
Yeah, I don't know. It's slippery slope right there, right? Like you're saying.
Yeah,
It's too realistic.
I get it. You know, at least they don't hide it and say, yeah, these are real players. They tell you these are more advanced NPCs. You know, they act more like human players are behind them. You know, they start predicting what you're gonna do. You know,
and I'm fine with that because that makes it challenging. But you know, I don't want to hamper the AI so that I feel like it's an NPC. I like it feeling more natural because then it's more immersive. But I don't want it to be better than me because of a program and make me feel like it's a real player. And that's kind of what I think this is kind of leaning towards. They start get this predictive button pushing, then they know how people play, and then they can sell that to somebody else. I mean, this is Google we're talking about. Sell this to somebody else so they can put it in their game and make it play like a real person. Slippery slope.
Yep. Oh, like I said, I hated those those hunters in the Division 1. And you knew when they were coming, they would proc a flash grenade. You're like, damn it. As soon as it would happen, because everything I used in that one, like the turrets, they would hack it, and then my own turret would be shooting at me, and I'm like, damn it, hate these guys. So I kind of, that's why I never really finished the underground, because it was every time it was almost like every other mission I was procking the hunters. So yeah, I hate that crap.
I agree.
I used to kill one of them, but I couldn't get the second one. Like, there's 2 of you guys versus me. This is crap.
That's because you're not supposed to be rolling alone in that game. You're supposed to be having a party of 4.
You're the Division. You're a singular agent which operates by himself. That was the whole point of the Division. You operate by yourself in a situation where the continuity of government has fallen. That is you. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, okay, I got 2 hunters after me. It's like, great. And you know, they're supposedly supposed to be better than you because they have all of the Division watches on their Kevlar or their netting
Division
on their
agents they've taken out.
Yeah, so they have all these little orange watches, and you're like, well, damn, this sucks. And they're wearing. So it's like, all right, and it was. I mean, every time they would come up at the end when you were dying, and they'd pull out like a crash axe and just kill you, and you're like, this sucks. I can't beat these guys. I can get one, but I can't get the other one.
All right, so you guys don't know this, but I'm a huge Dark Souls fan, and coming from the Dark Souls community, there's one phrase: get good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know I'm playing with you. I'm playing with you.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of things we're hoping get good, you want to go into the next?
So we're up to Blizzard. Okay, so Warcraft update 8.3. So we're getting up there. Pits you against an Eldritch god. So Vision of Ner'zhot. So I don't know if you remember early on in the current expansion where Ashara is drowning and that little fish swims up to her and shows her a vision of what's going to happen. That's Ner'zhot. So basically, that's where we're at now. Vision of Ner'zhot. It's beta right now, but we won't have to wait for BlizzCon for to learn about it. So what else we got going on? But that's for I think the upcoming raid. We are looking at some new races coming out here soon. Are you going to talk about the races, or am I talking?
No, you got it.
Okay. So it looks like the Alliance is getting a cybernetic gnome, basically, and the Horde is getting foxes. You know those people have those little pet foxes. They're small, generally white with the big ears. That's what these guys look like. So all of a sudden, the Horde is getting a very cute looking race.
Oh wait, the Horde's getting the Volperas,
yeah,
which is the foxes, and the Alliance are getting the mecha gnomes.
Yeah, yep.
Oh, I didn't read that part of it.
Unless I read it wrong, that's what it sounded like. I could be wrong. You can fact check me on that one.
Let me do that real quick, but go ahead and keep talking.
But with the upcoming raid, it looks like it's going to pit you against Ner'zhot, and one of the new features coming in 8.3 is the assault that will happen in a new zone, and the Veil of the Eternal Blossom. So it looks like we're heading back there. Lore-minded players will know that these two zones house ancient Titan facilities. These assaults sound like they will play out like a demonic invasion from the Legion, but we defeated the Legion. So, looks like the raid will have 12 bosses. So, meanwhile, the Volpera and the Mechanical are the two new races for the Horde and Alliance, respectively.
You were right. The Volpera are going to the Horde, and the Mecha Gnomes are for the Alliance.
Yep. So, of course, we'll learn more about this at BlizzCon. And I'm sure this is a release year, so we'll learn about the new the next expansion. So hopefully this one's better, because it seems to be, for me, every other expansion is one that I'll play consistently. So I played Legion most through, only took about 2 breaks from it. This current one, I have not really been very geeked about. So I've played it a lot less than what I would, like I did Legion.
I think
she is unhappy.
She is. I think their problem with the current expansion is when you hit max level, the point you are at to the point where you need to be for even looking for raid is such a long gap and such a long grind that not everybody's willing to do that, and that's been my hang up on it. I got to 70, and now I know I got to go grind. I got to do all these things to try to get there, and you got to grind those, whatever it is, for your necklace or whatever it is. Not your necklace. What is it?
Yes, it's a necklace.
And
it's to
level it up.
Damn thing. Yeah, it's
really.
I loved the weapons in Legion. That was great, because as a warlock, I got the staff, which has a huge story behind it. Now, the other 2 weapons really didn't for the warlock, but the staff had a great lure behind it. And then you get into where we're at now, and you're like, hey, you get this necklace, and you get to level it up, but it doesn't have any ability. Gives better stats. It's a stat item. That's all it is.
It's
And
for
I'm
those
like,
people that continually keep playing. They got something to work on, but it's so minimal as you build it up that it's like.
And I hated the armor where it was like, pick this on this ring, to pick this on this ring, and then to pick this, and
Ugh.
it's like, and most of the abilities were garbage for me. It's like, well, I don't use that. I don't use that particular ability very often or whatever, because I usually always play a destruction warlock, so I'm very much glass cannon like. And a lot of it was like, okay, it will do this. I don't know. I just did not get
Being a
what it was.
hunter, there was benefits for a hunter in those for
there
most
were
of them,
certain
but
benefits for a warlock, like, okay, this would help you retain more burning embers or whatever. But again, it's like, okay, this really comes in handy when I'm in a rotation, but when I'm out just running around the world doing world quests stuff, it's like, I don't know. I really did not like this expansion, like, at all. Like, the story was not really that great. I mean, I like the fact that it finally explained where the Naga came from and all of that stuff, but following the Legion, following that epic story arc, you go into this, you're like, what a letdown, and of course at BlizzCon they're like, okay, now the Horde and Alliance are finally going to be pitted against each other again. It's like, okay, this is just a filler. Okay, let's get to something good, So it's like, this expansion is okay,
so
it's like
German's got that look on his face like he doesn't know half the stuff we're talking about because he doesn't play World of Warcraft.
I do not. I'm just sitting here kind of like.
Sorry, it's just so.
What to say?
I've been playing World of Warcraft since vanilla. So when it first came out, when I was in the military, we were all playing. What were we all playing at the time? EverQuest, and all of a sudden this came out. So we all just abandoned EverQuest and went over here, and that's kind of where my MMO life has been. But it's like, Jesus, they've had some really good expansions and some really bad ones, and this is one. Now this one isn't horrible, but it's not great by any means. It was like,
they had some ideas that seemed like they would be good ideas, but like they didn't materialize, or they weren't fleshed out, or what. It's hard to say.
And I don't know. I dislike that they got rid of reforging. I loved reforging. That was great because you could get a junk item where it's like, okay, this could respectively be a decent upgrade if I could pull some of this stat out of this and put it into this stat, because what I really wanted to drop didn't, but I can still make this work for my particular spec. But then they got rid of it. They were like, all you have to do is when you shift from destruction to demonology or to affliction, that item will shift. Well, as a caster, it really doesn't shift much at all. So I'm still stuck with this garbage item that does not really do anything. It's like, okay, it's a purple because I'm wearing a blue in that spot, so it increases my int and stuff like that, but it still kind of sucks. But I gotta wear it anyways.
Because it's the higher gear score.
Because it's a higher gear score, and I need that higher gear score to get into this next raid. So it's like, okay,
gear score
bring
killed.
back
Wow.
reforging and go fix a lot of this bullshit.
It's my opinion that as soon as you added gear score to World of Warcraft and a lot of other games, you basically make it where skill doesn't matter.
Oh, but we've had this discussion many times outside of many times where they have dumbed this game down so far that there is no longer player intelligence checks. It's gear checks.
Exactly.
Have you played this raid, or have you played this dungeon? Have you done it on heroic? And do you have at least this minimum gear? Because I remember back before this all came out, it was like, okay, is all your stuff blue and from this current batch of dungeons? So like back in Wrath. So, when you were at the Wrath Gate, there was 3 dungeons you had to run over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
The whole reflection, all of that. So as long as you had like the current purples from there, you were good to get into
A raid.
the raid. Now it's like, okay, you don't even worry about that. It's like, can I do the math? Yep, I got it, so I can get in, even though I might suck ass. You know, and you don't even have to run the dungeons anymore. You can get most of that stuff out in the real world from harder world quests.
It's
which
just have you
takes
spent
that
the
away
time
too. Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I miss the days of having to do certain checks, which are run the raids because those unlock certain things. But I don't like the fact that it's like, okay, you have to have this gear score. Gear score just takes away from, like, I mean, I remember getting drug into higher level raids, not having the gear to be there, but because I was a warlock and because I was intelligent enough to learn my rotation and what to do in certain occasions, you know, it was still beneficial to me. I was still doing good enough damage. Now it's like everything is solely based off of gear, and if one piece is off, you can tell, you know, that, okay, they're not doing enough damage. Besides the fact that they're still standing in fire because they haven't quite learned how to strafe, which was hard for me when I first started raiding, was strafing, and not turning and running, was strafing. But, you know, it just takes all that stuff away. You know, it's like, I miss Warcraft being harder, but goddamn it, I don't want to go back to playing classic. I'm not all about that.
No, definitely not.
I'm a bit of a masochist, but I'm not to the point where I want to slit my own wrists. You know, and that's what
I think there's too many
classic
games
is.
that are adopting this though. I mean, you take even the Breakpoint, right? So I jumped in there to check it out, and it's basically an RPG first-person shooter.
Yes.
If you approach it with that, we did. If you approach it as that with the gear scores, then you'll be fine because you can look at the enemies and see what their gear score is and if you can take them on or not. But I when you first go in, you see all these wolves around, you know, the cutscene where the bad guy comes in and does the bad thing. Well, there's like 9 of those wolves and they're all like red skulls. And I was like, you know what? I got a sniper rifle. I'm going to see if I can take them out. So I started taking them out. I did. I took all of them out by myself. It just, I had to be very strategic. I died a couple times doing it. I won't admit, like, I didn't do it first time. But after I started seeing where they were at, and okay, I got a silencer on here, I'll take that guy out, nobody will notice. Take that guy out, nobody will notice. Just started doing this, and then when they did notice, I backed out, went around, took a couple of them out, backed out, went around, took a couple out, and it just, you know.
As a ghost should have.
Yeah. But if I would have had the gear score where they would have been greens or something, I'd have just been like, you know what? You know?
Oh yeah. But that's the difference between having that challenge and not. You know, the thing is I told you there was a big difference between Wildlands and Breakpoint, where I was like, I don't know if I could buy off on this because it's all about gear in Breakpoint. Whereas in Wildlands, it was like, okay, I managed to find this gun out in the field. I found the crate, and now it's unlocked to me, and I have all of the mods, and that was it. Everything else was cosmetic.
Yep.
Oh man, she's unhappy today.
Well, here's the issue I have is the way they do it. I don't mind the gear scores, but if I trek to an area and I fight a boss that's like 10 levels higher than me,
yeah,
I shouldn't get an item that's 1 or 2 gear scores higher than what I have. And that's what they do. They look at what you have, and they go, oh, we're just going to give them an incremental buff.
Mm-hmm.
Where
I could have told you that. They're not going to give you...
But they should. If I take on a level 50 boss and I'm level 10, I should get a level 50 gear for taking out that boss.
Yes, you should, by all rights. But you know they're not going to do that.
No, they're not.
All of a sudden, everyone's going to start doing that. They're going to start taking on the overly hard challenges and figuring it out. What you should, you know? I mean, you're a ghost. You don't really need this gear crap. You're professionally trained. You are you are part of Black Ops. So, you know, that takes away from the realism that I think that Wildlands had. You know, you didn't need gear. You were dropped in wearing whatever the hell you picked with whatever weapons was available, and it didn't matter how hard they were. Everything scaled to the world around you, which was the way it should be. So if that guy is harder because he's wearing, you know, a ballistic face mask. He's wearing full body armor. Okay, so he's a little bit harder. But again, I don't like this because basically it feels like they rolled the Division into Breakpoint.
Well, pretty much.
Yeah, which is Division is very geary. Okay, I need to get the orange items, or I need to get the green items, need to get the set bonuses, and that's fine because that's the way the Division was painted. Ghost Recon wasn't. It was basically a storytelling shooter.
Well, I'm just talking about games in general, not so much just Breakpoint and Wildlands. But I mean,
no, I'm just beating up on
I know you are.
Sorry.
There was a time when you would go and you would play a game and you would beat a boss, or you would go to a spot that you had to know about, and you would get an item that made you overpowered. But it would only make you overpowered for us until everything caught up to you, and then you'd have to look for that next item. And I miss those days. Where it's like I get this item and all of a sudden I'm just blowing everything my level out of the waters, and now 5 levels from now, it's not doing as much. It's an average weapon, but I like those days. I mean, that's fun to me. It's like getting overpowered for a little bit of time.
Well, that's kind of why Borderlands is great. When you get that legendary to drop, like I have shotgun, if it shoots the way I want it to, it tears people up.
Yep.
But I know in a few more levels that thing's going to be garbage.
And you're going to have to replace it, yeah.
Yep.
But the thing they do in Borderlands 3 that's different is they're constantly just throwing loot at you, so the chances that you find a replacement are really high. When you need a replacement,
for a little while.
A little while. But they constantly throwing stuff at you. So I don't know. There has to be a balance out there somewhere.
Ultimately, I think it's just the way they've adapted games lately. The era is gone of it being difficult. People want that instant gratification versus having to camp an item or hope it drops and pray to the RNG gods that this thing drops. Nowadays, that's gone. If I can't get it in item, if I can't get it in game, there's an equivalent on the in-game store, and I'll just buy it there.
Yeah, it's games as a service is what it is.
Yeah, and I dislike how that has gone over the years, because it's like PC gaming was always meant to be more difficult. It was always meant to be that way, and now it's just like, I don't know what happened. I want to blame the millennials, but it's like, quit worrying about this damn instant gratification. Working hard at a game was what we did back then.
It's games as a service so they can keep them running. I mean, like in Dark Souls, you beat a boss so that you can get past them, and there's a chest past them, and once you get that chest after you've gotten it once, on the next playthrough, whatever was in that chest, when you get to it, it's going to be in that chest for your next character. There's something to be said for that. It makes the replayability worth it. If you have it where you have one character that you built up and he's really strong, and he's just going to get incrementally more strong as he goes, why would you build up another character and make him weak again? There's no point in it. Unless it's like Borderlands where it's a whole different character or something, but there's no point in that. Why would I start another Dark Souls run when I've already got a character as powerful as I need, and I could just use that character?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't like how things have progressed over the past couple of years. The difficultness of games has gone down,
What's your take on it, German? That's a lot to take in. Breathe it in, breathe it out.
Well, him and I are lifelong gamers, so it's.
Yeah, I mean, I've debated a long time since I played. I mean, the only thing I can see about that and references is when I was playing Destiny. When you have that, you have all these loot coming in, you get the legendary weapons, stuff like that. Yeah, you get powerful and stuff like that. You start destroying people all over the place, but at the same time, when you're doing the boss levels, you get a higher weapon than that. Which is really cool to have, because it's like you have that challenge to get through to get that weapon, and then as it progresses, that weapon basically becomes none, as powerful because you're already as high as you can. So now it's up to the creators to create a new session, new game that's going to keep going playing it, so you'll be higher. which I really love. You know what I mean? So as you get progress in the game, you progress in the storyline, you progress in your level. You know what I mean? I like the fact that you're getting something much higher to keep you up. So you can go start from fresh, create a new character from level 1. You can always either refer back to your older characters if you have that, material or whatever. You can transfer it over to the new character, like as possible as you can, which is cool. You don't have to go in there and grind it because you got it for them. You know what I mean? To create something so now you can get faster levels, or if you're a new character, bigger loot will come to you to get your your level higher quicker to get back to where you're supposed to be, which is really nice to have. Taking that away, I think I'll be really disappointed because you can only get to a certain level quick. You're not able to actually do what you want to do because you're not going to be able to attack them because they're going to just one shot, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that gear, which it sucks.
I guess it comes down to the implementation because I think Destiny does it mostly right. It's a good progression you play. Sometimes I feel like there's a lot of grinding to get it up, and it does do small increments, but I don't know. It seems like it's still got the progression. If you played a lot, you would be up there to where you wanted to be, not in a bad amount of time, but other games, just like they do it and they just don't do it well. So.
Oh yeah, there's some games that the grind is horrible.
Yeah.
So.
If it's fun gameplay, then you don't mind it as much, right? I guess that's the key.
Oh, I don't know. Again, this goes back to like my old days in WoW, where it was like when you did dailies, and dailies were a pain in the ass, but you did it because there was that item you wanted, there was that mount you wanted, there was that light at the end of the tunnel. Now in dailies, you go through in like 2 weeks, and you're like, all right, I've got the highest level of reputation, I'm done. Back in the day, it was like forever. It was like months you were grinding out this stuff because there was only like 3 you could do. Like there's only 3 missions you could do a day. So it was like forever. And again, the people that wanted instant gratification were like, QQ, this sucks. I don't want to do. Is there a faster way? Then all of a sudden it was like, okay, so we're going to. When you're out killing stuff on doing other missions, if you're at least in this zone, there's a possibility it'll drop a turn-in item that you could go turn in these items and get bonus reputation. It was like, okay, I was okay with it for a little while, but then all of a sudden it started getting condensed further and further down where it's like, okay, these dailies are easy now. Dailies used to be a pain in the ass, and you used to have a group to do it. And
now they got the time sync with the necklace. They don't need the time sync to be the dailies. So,
nope.
All right,
and that's just disappointing.
So I think this is probably going to be our longest gaming watch so far. So let's wrap it up with
okay.
The video.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. No, we're all participating. We're all participating. It's good talks. So we're going to go on to video game releases. You're going to have that Epic Store stuff. You got it up?
All right. Got it up.
All right. So video games releasing this week. We have the Jackbox Party Pack 6 releasing October 7th on the Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Switch. And if you guys have a party that's coming up and you want to have people participate in a game, these are fun. And everybody can participate with a phone. They're a lot of fun. Okay. The Sims 4 Realm of Magic is coming out. It's an expansion for The Sims 4. It's coming out on October 15th for the Xbox One, PC, and PlayStation 4. Children of Morta releases October 15th on the Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Switch. Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville comes out on October 18th on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. I really thought there was going to be a larger release this week, but I guess not. I guess we'll have to wait.
We're going to hit that drought before the holidays. And I told you, you were like, no drought. I'm like, every year there's a little bit of a drought, and then all of a sudden
stuff I got to play and finish though, so I'm not mad at it right now.
No, because you and I still got to dive into Breakpoint. We got to get further into Borderlands. It's like because I've been either traveling or sick because whatever.
We have to finish Borderlands 3 because once you finish it, I've already finished it on the PC and the Xbox.
Okay.
Not with the character I was playing with you. I'm saving that for you. But you unlock the Hunter ranks, the Guardian ranks.
Right.
And that's the end game stuff. And you unlock it for all your characters. So you got to get through it on one character.
Well, like I said, I'm
So-
probably working from home this week, so because F it, I've been on the road for 4 weeks straight. I'm done. Work from home for a little bit. So yeah, we should knock some of that out this week.
All right, so hit us with that new segment that you wanted to add.
All right, so let me bring it up. So Epic Games, it looks like now that it's free game of the week. So right now, through the 17th, it is Surviving Mars. And then the 17th through the 24th looks like it is Observer. And then Alan Wake's American Nightmare. So those are the two games that are going to be coming for free this week.
Nice.
Last week it was... Let me go to my store. Last week it was...
Picked it up. I don't remember what it was, though.
yeah, I mean... MINIT, Mint, or whatever.
Oh, Minute.
And then Minute. And then
It's
before
like you got
that, it
60
was...
seconds to get as far as you can get.
It was Metro 2033... And then before that, it was, I think, Everything was the name of it. And then before that, it was the whole Dark Knight series.
Yeah.
So Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and then Arkham Knight. So
Stay up on those free games, man. Just add them to your library.
like
even
I
if you don't
said,
download them.
yeah, you might. I mean, I don't download them, but at some point, I think I might play it. But yeah, free games, you might as well get them.
Well, the Observer one that's coming up is the Rutger Hauer one.
Yes.
And
So that's gonna be
you're
pretty good.
like a cyber detective, and that's got decent reviews if I remember correctly. So that could be very entertaining for people, especially for free. You get your money's worth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I might do a segment on it. I don't know, depending on how much free time I have.
yeah, do that.
So, yeah.
So, all right, that was the Gaming Watch Weekly, episode 15
15, everybody.
for October
15.
14th, 2019. You guys got anything you want to finish with? Any?
No, I'm
I don't.
like I said, I'm gonna be working from home this week, so hopefully you and I can get in there and get stuff done. I turned 40 this week, so yeah,
You youngin'.
Rock on.
yeah.
Youngin'.
And in order and progression, Calvin, me, and then I'm assuming you.
German's younger than all of us, yeah. He's a
there you-
millennial that you keep bashing on.
Yeah, that's your generation. I think you're a boomer, aren't you? You're
Me?
at the end of the you're at the end of the boomers, aren't you?
End of the boomers, beginning of the next
Yeah.
one, somewhere in there. I don't
Which
know.
is-
I don't pay attention to all that.
Yeah,
I don't fit
right
in
after
like
boomers,
to any of
the
those.
Xers.
I don't fit in with any of that stuff. It doesn't
I'm
really.
definitely a Gen Xer.
Gen
I fit
Xer?
that mold pretty well, yeah.
I don't fit in with anything. I look at them and go like, "What are you guys doing?"
That's what happens when you're at the end of the generation. They're like,
Eh. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and end with that. We do this every Sunday at 6 p.m. Arizona time. I would give you your time, but it's too confusing, especially with daylight savings coming up. So,
Arizona doesn't participate in that daylight saving
Yeah.
time.
talk about doing their own thing like I do is Arizona. That's probably why it's a good state for me. I just do what I want to do, and I'm me, and I don't care about anything else.
Daylight saving time does not serve a purpose anymore. It did back in the day when you needed more time to farm and whatnot, and that's what it was there for. Give them 1 more hour of light. But now we don't really need that. So
And you know what? I'm a night owl anyways, so hey, make it night sooner. I'm good.
I was up until we had a kid, and then it's like, she's in bed. Let's hurry up and go to bed.
Oh, my kids tried to break me from that, but it just never worked.
Maybe once Hannah's a little bit older, and I can shift to playing a little bit later. But right now, it's like by 9 o'clock, I'm really wanting to wind down. Not go to bed, but start the winding down process.
I feel
My
ya.
brain will go, man.
So that's how it is when you get old. Start to wind down a little.
So like that.
Well,
It depends on the person, man. I don't wind down at all.
Well, if I don't, it'll be like, hey, you remember that? My brain will be like, hey, that part in that level that you. It'll sit there and like, oh, I figured that out, and I'm like, shut up, brain. I want to go to sleep. It just goes and goes and goes. So yeah, that's that part of the ADD thing where it just goes all the time, and I have to shut it down or it won't shut down, and I can't go to sleep. So
ADD. Yeah. Let's not get into that.
Hey man, you can believe it or you don't have to believe it, but it is real.
It is. The struggle is real.
Yes, it is. I've just learned to live with it and use it to my benefit. It's just I have to know how to shut it off.
I can start touching my cheek like every second, and they would make it a disorder. That's just what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's like ridiculous how they come up with these things.
Yeah, it's just how as a kid, I think they blamed the whole hyperness with candy.
Sugar. Yeah, it was the sugar thing when I was going, don't give them sugar, they'll be calm. Yeah.
Well, ADHD, the hyperactivityness, that to me is kind of like, okay, kids will be kids, but the brain being overstimulated, that's a little bit different. You know, hyperness versus your brain running at full speed when it shouldn't be constantly running at full speed is a little bit different.
Who says it shouldn't be constantly running at full speed? Because everybody else does it?
Well, because your brain, as you get closer to wanting to go to sleep, should shift down gears instead of being like, okay, this is when it's in like fifth gear, it's like, okay, I'm at work, I'm processing data. When you're not, like a normal PC should, it should start shutting down processors so it's conserving power and allows you to
the
go
brain
into a sleep mode.
Doesn't ever stop.
No, I'm not saying it stops, but it does go into a sleep state. It does slow down a little bit. Well, with ADD, it doesn't it won't downshift when it probably should.
So
get upshift.
Yeah, this could be a conversation that could go on forever. So we're gonna go ahead and end the stream right there before we get into this and go even deeper. So thanks anybody who was watching. Until next stream or video, take care. Bye bye now, Static Buzz. And
German the Great.
We are out. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for watching.
Good night.